Welcome back, YouTube viewers. I want to introduce a plant today that has become one of my favorites, Hygrophilia pinnitifada. Pretty easy plant to grow. I'm not sure why a lot of guys don't grow it, but it really is an easy plant to grow. And as you can see, it is, in my opinion, quite beautiful. The biggest thing to remember about Hygrophilia pinnitifada is that, number one, it is a hygrophilia, which means that it does require a little potassium and iron. As you can see on some of these older leaves on this one shoot, you notice the pinholes in it and the deterioration, which has to be removed. But if you notice, the new growth is coming in pretty good. So if it were truly an iron deficiency in the tank, then a lot of the leaves would show these little pinholes and so forth. And you know that you need to add iron and potassium. But other than that, you know, the temperature range is 78 degrees. I noticed that it's really not too particular about pH as long as the extremes are avoided. But I've kept it in all types of environments, low light, high light. It does prefer CO2. It does grow better with CO2. It does, as I mentioned earlier, like the macro fertilizers. And if you keep that in mind, you get a beautiful plant. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to actually prune a couple back. This one is really just in a bad position. It's in front of a piece of driftwood that I really don't want it to be there, because what will happen is it'll just grow and you know, and it's really in a bad spot in terms of, let me back up a little bit so you can get a better look at it. But it's really in a bad spot. So is the one to the right. Those two plants actually need to be further back. So I'm going to trim them and show you how I do it. It's really a simple procedure, but this is how. Normally you can replant little plantlets from the plant that grow pretty close to the roots. You can see a couple there. I'll go a little closer so you can see them. And you can see the little plantlets coming up off of runners. That's normally the way you can reproduce the plant. Or, you know, you can simply just cut it right on the stem, remove the bottom leaves, and replant the stem. It roots very easily, and it's really a simple plant to start that way. Some plants are a little more difficult to start from cuttings, but this plant seems to do quite well either way, either from a division of the one of the runners or from a stem cutting. And what I'm going to do in part 2 is illustrate how I go about cutting these two stems and replanting them. And I'll show you what they look like. Even the stem that I'm going to leave in the gravel, what happens to it after you cut off the stem. So I just wanted to give you guys an introduction as to how I going to approach Hygrophilia pinnitifada. Very easy plant to grow. And as I said, really a beautiful plant. So guys, look at part 2 and after I do the cutting, and you'll see how this plant really is a versatile plant and really simple to grow. So and it also, I also want to mention also that there's a spot of algae on some there. But I also want to mention that ordinarily this plant will grow in gravel. But it'll also grow as an epiphyte, such as I have here, growing in driftwood. Now, it will do that as long as the water column is, you know, you got a fertile water column. You know, if you're not macrodosing with fertilizers such as the potassium and the iron, which this plant seems to prefer, then, you know, it's really not going to do a lot of it's pretty difficult for it to grow in this epiphytic manner in terms of maintaining itself, because there won't be enough nutrients in the water column to maintain the plant. So you got to make sure that if you really want it to flourish, you got to dose with the iron and with potassium. Now, I use Seedchem's products only because they actually, you can buy them in bottles of strictly that particular fertilizer. For example, if I wanted iron, I can buy a bottle of Seedchem's iron, or if I need a potassium, I can buy the potassium or nitrogen or phosphorus or any of those other macronutrients that I need to dose with. And as I said, I've used Seedchem's products for a couple of years and I'm really happy with them, so I'm going to continue to do so. So I want to thank you guys for watching this preliminary video, but once again I will show you how I divide the plants up, and thanks for watching.